To raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Donate right now at humanela.org.
Don't you think?
Knight Rider.
Don't you think the network, I think it was NBC, would have a little more confidence in Knight Rider? They would have used a Corvette, not a Trans Am. I think they were like, I don't know if this show's going to catch on or not. I don't really like Knight Rider, but I've got all the David Hasselhoff CDs where he sings in German. Fantastic. Right up there with the Beatles. I probably shouldn't tell you this because it doesn't add anything positive into your life. It is only a negative. But you can actually go on YouTube and check out David Hasselhoff, German rock and roll sensation. He's like as big as it gets, or was, in Germany. He would pack stadiums. I don't know if David Hasselhoff, outside of like some Las Vegas show, I mean, could you imagine David Hasselhoff at the Dome? You'd have 30 people show up for that concert. Do it in Munich, and they're 30,000. A rock and roll sensation, David Hasselhoff. Frightening, scary. I shouldn't have told you that. If you didn't know and now you're going to YouTube, I'm just making your life a little bit worse. Stay away from that. You don't need that in your life. Corey Johnson with you on a Monday. Yeah, you right. Thanks for joining us on the radio. Oh, so fine. 93.9 FM. 93.9 FM. Learn it, live it, love it. Lock and load that bad boy. Make it one of your presets. Oh, so fine. 93.9 FM. Every weekday afternoon starting at 4. Every weekday afternoon starting at 4. New Orleans' own 107.9 FM. 107.9 FM. Now, if you're going, say, to Baton Rouge, tooling around I-12 on the North Shore, beelining to southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, Panhandle of Florida, 600 AM, weekday afternoons, 4 o'clock. Yeah, old school, the old AM radio side of the dial. 600 AM is a sneaky little powerful AM signal that carries the neutral ground with yours truly all over the Gulf Coast region, up and down the I-10, I-12 corridor on 600 AM. Live streaming our website, KaareTalks.com. Kaare spelled K-A-A-R-E, KaareTalks.com. We're on YouTube. Corey Johnson, Neutral Ground on YouTube. And for the first 90 minutes of the 2-hour talk radio program, we're on television statewide right now. 4 to 5:30, Cox Channel 4, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette. That's Your View, Louisiana. You can check us out on Spectrum Channel 333, all around Louisiana. 4 to 5:30, Spectrum Channel 333. Lots of ways to check out the program. Radio, live streaming, television, YouTube. It is a Monday afternoon. We have a full slate. Rouse's Markets phone lines are open. 504-766-9480. 766-9480. Our Humane May fundraiser going on. 8 shows left in May. 5 this week, 3 next week till Wednesday. That's May 31st. 10 days left of 31 in May. We're essentially 70% in time-wise for our Humane May fundraiser, trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. We're 70% of the time into the month, but we've only raised about 40%, about $4,000 of our $10,000 goal, not even halfway home, only 30% of the time left. About a week and a half till next Wednesday. Please go to the website right now, humanela.org. Humanela.org. A young mother killed in front of her kids in the East. Pontchartrain Beach talk. lot of stuff going on. 504 driving range theft. They're saying like 300 grand in materials. I just don't see how that's possible, but whatever. They say it's going to delay the project. Not a good situation. Let's hit the phone lines on this Monday, this summer-like Monday. It's starting to get hot. We're fading into summer now. We peaked over 90 degrees on the thermometer for the first time in 2023 over the weekend. I'm sure there are more 90s on the horizon. Rouse's Markets phone line, 766-9480. Kevin dialed us up from Texas. What up, Kevin?
What's up, Corey? Two things. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. I tried to get you last week, but I guess y'all was having an issue with y'all phone line, so it just kept cutting off. But two issues. Two things. I was trying to get you last week when you was talking about the Six Flags. I called you a while back. You probably remember. That is fraud. Straight up fraud.
What is
Somebody's
fraud?
trying to get rich. That Six Flags, that Bayou Phoenix thing, that is straight fraud. And if I was a city, I would give them not one red penny more. Nothing. And this thing about the 504 golf on driving range, man, come on, $300,000 gonna delay you? Come on, be for real, man.
No, we're talking about a $30 million project. That's 1%, and that's going to delay. You know, that's a good point. It was a bunch of steel that was sitting on a platform that apparently
I saw it.
An 18-wheeler with a forklift, they loaded it up and stole it. I just don't see how that can happen. You have the security cameras. They came back a second time. It was all done over the weekend. I mean, I guess I can have. I shouldn't say I can't. I can't see how it could happen. But just a brazen theft seems like you'd be able to track the truck or figure out where that metal went, but maybe not. I don't know. But still, it seems like a convenient excuse, Kevin, like enthusiastic about saying there's going to be a delay, you know?
Exactly.
Now, how crazy. I mean, you could write a Hollywood story on just these two potential driving range entertainment complexes. Not once, but twice. It's like Yogi Berra, you know, deja vu all over again. It's crazy.
Only in New Orleans, well, I'll tell you.
No, where are you in? Outside of Houston?
No, north of Austin.
Oh, that's right, north of Austin. Yeah, no, Texas is a different beast. They're an economic juggernaut. They have an infusion of people. I mean, I bet, Kevin, when you meet people, chances are better than not, they're not from Texas.
Corey, I'm not exaggerating, but if you're talking about development, just go to Austin. Visit Austin.
Oh, no. Just
wow.
And Austin,
Man.
Austin has explosive growth. Houston, Dallas, that Dallas-Fort Worth, even, you know, San Antonio and Austin will morph into one place in the next 20 years, Kevin.
I agree with you. I totally agree.
You know, I mean, San Marcos, the you know, northwestern edge of San Antonio, the southeastern edge of Austin, they almost connect right now.
Give Austin 2 years and I guarantee you will not even recognize Austin skyline.
No, that's
2 years.
A buddy of mine's married to an Austin girl. He says he goes and sees the in-laws like every 6 months. There's a new road. There's a wooded area that was woods, and now it's clay topped, and they're building on it. New roads, new highways, just explosive growth, something we have not experienced in New Orleans since the, 50s, 60s, 70s, and never at that level either.
I haven't seen a new skyscraper in New Orleans, I think, since like 89.
Well, that was the bulk of it. That was the bulk of it. About 25 high-rise buildings, literally 25 that define our skyline, were all built in between 1972 and around 1987, all in like a 15-year period. The 90% of our skyline, and 90% of it was built during that era. Very few new buildings being built, Kevin. A couple of South Market District buildings. But you're right, cranes in the sky. There's a condo building right now, about 10, 12 stories going up in the CBD, but very rare do you see cranes in the sky. Nashville, Austin, too many to count.
I'm talking about Austin putting up like 50, 60, 70-story buildings.
Yep, that's crazy.
Now you're building a 25-story building.
Oh, no, you're right.
The Odeon, 29 stories. And I don't really consider that a skyscraper.
Well, it is, but Austin has a dozen of those going up.
Yeah, they do that like every day.
They do that every day. They do that every day. Hey, Kevin in Texas, I'm about to run into a break. Thanks so much for the call.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Kevin's right on the money. Native New Orleanian, moved to Texas, has never come back. May visit, but he's like, probably wants to be back. If New Orleans had any kind of economy, if New Orleans had half the economy Texas has, Kevin and a bunch of Louisianians would be back, even if it was half the economy. But when you have this Texas juggernaut economy and you have this not even a pulse, a stagnant New Orleans economy, hard to come back. Hey, New Orleans Councilman Freddie King joins us next.
Our Humane May fundraiser is going on right now. In the month of May, we're trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Donate right now at humanela.org.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
River Cities. Total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
Every day we broadcast live from the Buddy Diliberto River City's Total Maintenance Studios. River City's Total Maintenance, remember that name. It is hot out there. Chances are you, me, most of us, we're going to make it through summer just fine with our air conditioning system. But a lot of folks watching and listening, maybe you and me, might have a problem with our air conditioning over the next few months, and that is unacceptable. Go outside right now just for a minute. It's hot. Summer has arrived. We hit 90 on the thermometer for the first time over the weekend. We're getting close every day now. Feels like 90. No, summertime has arrived. And this, we're going to get 10 degrees hotter. Feels like 10, 15 degrees hotter in the next few weeks. If your air conditioning isn't working right, River City's Total Maintenance is there. Honest air conditioning experts that come immediately. Find them at NOLAAC.com, NOLAAC.com. Every day we broadcast live from the Buddy Diliberto River City's Total Maintenance Studios. Happy to have New Orleans Councilman Freddie King joining us on the program again. Councilman King, how are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
Doing well, Freddie. Same old stuff. Summer in New Orleans. We've all experienced it. We know what's up. We know the score.
We know the skinny.
Yep. When I was at LSU, that's one of the reasons I got the job at the legislature. Indoors, air conditioning, $35 a day.
Gotcha. $35 a day, man. You were killing it.
I was killing it in the late 80s, early 90s. Yeah. Plus the air conditioning. All my friends would come home from some construction job or digging a ditch or something, just beat up. And
I picked up trash in the summers when I was in college.
On the back of a truck?
Nah, we would drive around in the parish van out in Tangier Hole Parish with the Southeastern.
Wow. And
we would get out with our scoopers. I would stick with the claws on the end and pick up trash and go to the landfill and empty the trailer out, and that encouraged me to stay in school. Nice.
And who knew that one day you'd be a New Orleans City Councilman?
Who knew?
Yep. How did that get going, Freddie? What made you say, I want to give back and help the city?
Just working for a previous council member and enjoying the job and enjoying helping people. And, I kind of got bit by the bug, not so much the political bug, but just the bug of being able to help people get their water bill paid, help neighbors resolve issues, and just see the people in this city receive the help that they need. That really got me wanting to do this job on a council level.
New Orleans Councilman Freddie King's with us. One ordinance that you proposed the last few weeks has caused quite a stir, especially in the historic French Quarter, kind of the pearl of the oyster, the lifeblood of New Orleans. It all starts with our tourism center, the French Quarter.
No doubt.
Talk about your ordinance and a 1-year exception or a large flexibility in enforcement of code and how things are built, painted, constructed in the French Quarter for a year. Tell us about it.
Well, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to clarify some misinformation. I, under no circumstances, want to stop enforcement in the French Quarter. BCC and my office want the same team. We want to encourage enforcement. We want to equip BCC with the tools they need. And we all want the same thing. We want to get people in compliance and get rid of the bad actors and keep the historical architecture in the French Quarter intact. That is what we all want, and that's what I'm working on. Now, I will say that the ordinance as originally constructed can use some fine-tuning. The language after reading it a couple of times, and more importantly, talking to the residents of not just the French Quarter, but of the city, I can see how some things were left for others to interpret, and it's not what my intent was. So my intent is simply to help VCC give them the tools they need to do a better job enforcing bad actors in the French Quarter. Now, we've had great conversations with VCC starting last week. I'll tell you one thing this has done. It has opened a door for conversations. And I want to thank Mr. Block and his staff for coming to the table. And we all realize that a greater change is needed. And they made me realize that everything doesn't fall at the foot of VCC. So you may have a person that has a VCC violation, and they now need to get a permit to fix their violation. But that is on somebody else. That's another department. So this has opened the door for a broader conversation that takes a wider look at the permitting process as a whole in this city. What are you talking about, the French Quarter? What are you talking about, the East, Algiers, Uptown, Mid-City? We as a city need to do a better job in streamlining the process, not making it difficult to do business in this city, and not making it difficult to do everyday repairs or get an HVAC unit, air conditioning heating unit in your house, or getting a plumbing permit. We need to, as a city, do a better job of streamlining that process.
Freddie King's with us, New Orleans Councilman. Why did the Kaare Commission have a meltdown then? I am 100% into what you're saying as far as doing business in New Orleans. We drive people away more than we lure them in. We make it very difficult. I mean, we announce projects, ground doesn't get broken for years, if ever. People get frustrated, they leave. You've got all kind of other built-in problems that other places don't have, like violent crime, theft, hurricanes, and the like. I agree with you. We need to make it inviting to do work in New Orleans, but the Kaare Commission was kind of upset with your potential plan to relax those French Quarter rules, right?
They were, and partly is because, like I said, the ordinance wasn't, it's not a complete document. It's a work in progress. So they saw the first draft, and it's not something that they agreed with, and that caused the confusion, or that caused the heartburn that they had. And I'm working on that with my staff, and I spoke to the legal, and we're going to clean that up. I'm not sure if I mentioned it earlier, but this has been deferred. It will not go forward on Thursday. We're going to have more conversations, going to be referred to the community development meeting, because, again, I don't want to just stop at the Kaare. That's one of the positives that came out of this, multiple positives. I don't want to stop at the French Quarter. I want to have a broader conversation. It's how can we fix this log jam throughout the city? So that's what we're going to focus on. But Kaare Commission, Preservation Resource Center, safety and permits, we were locked in a room today for about an hour and a half and came out with some positive steps moving forward. And we're just going to try to keep continuing to work together. Yeah,
they're not perfect, but they're necessary. And I think they do a lot of better work than bad work. And if I were a council person, I wouldn't want to be fighting with those groups. So I think it's smart that you put out this ordinance, or potential ordinance. It catches a lot of grief from some folks, and you're talking with those important folks and trying to figure out something that works. So I think Block had said something. We're talking about Brian Block, right? The Kaare Commission director.
Yes. Mr. Brian Block, correct.
Yeah, he said you guys could vote as soon as this Thursday on your potential ordinance.
That's not going to happen. So the ordinance was set to be discussed at this council meeting. That has been pushed back to it's going to go to the community development meeting, a redrafted, a newer, a better version of this ordinance that doesn't even mention Kaare's enforcement ability. That's going to go to the community development meeting so we can have more discussion, more robust discussion, invite different departments in to figure out what is the log jam? Why is there a log jam?
Yep.
but no one wants to fight. You know, I'm not one of those guys. I pride myself in bringing people to the table. I pride myself in having an open door and being able to talk to anybody, anywhere about anything. And that's what we're doing now. And the conversation started off a bit contentious and heated. And now we are getting to a place where I'm very, very comfortable and confident that we will have a solution that makes this city work more efficiently, at least in the permitting part.
So not a moratorium on enforcement in the French Quarter, but streamlining the process where it still has teeth, but making it to where it makes developers, business people more confident in that system.
Exactly. So we all understand and realize the French Quarter is, as you stated, the pearl and the oyster, the crown jewel, the city, the state, and I always say the region. We want to protect it. Speaking to some of the people who had concerns, they say, how is it fair to me? And again, this is not all on VCC. How is it fair to me if I'm paying taxes, insurance, mortgages, and the like, and that the shot girl comes up next to my bar and starts serving shots? Can we get enforcement on that? Because while I'm trying to get my permits in line with VCC or my permits in line with safety and permits, the shot girl, they're not paying anything.
Right.
They don't have any oversight. So this isn't just bad actors saying, like it was suggested bad actors are telling me that needs to be changed. These are good actors. These are institutions in the French Quarter. Galatoirs, Quarter Two Sisters. They want to see better enforcement. They want to see the right kind of enforcement, but they also want to address the log jam in the permitting process.
Yep, understood. Hey, Freddie, a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
I appreciate it. That's Freddie King, New Orleans City Councilman, joining us. Corey Johnson with you till 6.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
At Home Paint and Decorating, our paints are in it for the long haul. In fact, our top bench of more exterior paints come with a lifetime warranty. Not 25 years, not 50 years, we mean forever. You heard right. At Helm Paint, our top exterior paints have a lifetime warranty against chipping, peeling, and flaking. They also are mildew resistant. Imagine painting your home one time and being done with it. Visit any one of our locations today and make that once-in-a-lifetime purchase. Paint that has a lifetime warranty. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models, and it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe. For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
Our Humane May fundraiser is going on right now. In the month of May, we're trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Donate right now at humanela.org.
Yeah, you right. If you just missed the last segment of the program, you missed New Orleans City Councilman Freddie King discussing a shelved potential ordinance that would have basically gutted regulations in the quarter. Freddie King wants it to be not gutting them, but streamlining them, he just said, working with groups like the Kaare Commission. He just joined us. Not coming up in a few minutes, Frank the Hammer Smith from Las Vegas Gambling. He will not be joining us live. Brett Martell's going to join us in about an hour in the 5 o'clock power hour from the Associated Press. I know a lot of you are bummed out. No Frank the Hammer Smith joining us on the program. He really can make those great gambling selections. You want to try calling Frank the Hammer Smith? I think it's 888-777-1515. 555-1717. Anyway, you call him every day? Live, you talk to him, Jason, or the recorded message? Yeah. I had a roommate in college. I'll never forget, the phone bill comes. There's like $75 more than normal, which back then is like humongous. And I see these 3 $25 charges. And I run to my buddy. I'm like, what's this? He's like, relax, dude. Those are mine. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, because I was thinking I had to come up with half. It's like, yeah, it's the 800 betting service. $25 a call for the selections. They were gold selections, 5-star lock of the week, dude. That doesn't happen all the time, the 5-star lock of the week. Lock of the week. Oh, does it happen weekly? We don't want you to think so. All right, it is a Monday. Rouse's Markets phone lines are open if you'd like to participate. 766-9480. It's hot out there. 766-9480. Stay hydrated. I forgot my bottle of water. I had to go to the vending machine. I got a Coke. That's almost like drinking alcohol. It's like anti-hydration. I swear. My old boss at Channel 26, when I was working there for about a decade doing editorials and anchoring and doing stuff like that, on his desk he has a cellophane bag, and it's just got about an inch of white powder across the bottom. And on the bag, on the little white, area you can write on, it says Coke. And I'm just like, what the hell? So like, I'll never forget. It was like kind of like the interview type thing. And about 2 minutes in, I'm just distracted and rattled. Like I'm only about 75% there, 25%. He's like, is this a bag of cocaine on this dude's desk? What is this? So finally I'm like, time out. What is that? And he just starts chuckling, laughing, and picks it up. He's like, this is how much sugar is in a 16-ounce Coke. And it was like an inch across the bottom of a baggie. An inch of sugar across. Like I'm guessing about, in this little Coke right here, about 10 teaspoons at least of sugar. It's like, can you imagine a little white coffee cup and you putting in like 10 or 12 teaspoons of sugar? Add some coffee to your sugar. Add some French fries to your ketchup. All right, Jason, you ready for a little math? A little math? We have to do some metric system conversion. Total sugars in this, 55 grams. All right. How many grams of sugar equal a teaspoon, Jason? I got to figure it's about 6 grams equal in a teaspoon. How many grams in a teaspoon? You said 55? We just do how many grams in a teaspoon? Oh, yeah. Or how many teaspoons is 55 grams? 13.4 teaspoons equals 55 grams. So it's basically, like I'm saying, about four teaspoons of sugar per. That's crazy. 13 teaspoons of sugar in this Coke. 13. I mean, sugar would be like to right here. It would be about 2 inches of sugar. Jason's gagging behind the glass. And then adding this caramel water concoction. And by the way, Jason, it's not nice, pure cane sugar white. It would be a yellowy gel, kind of a brownish colored goop, a gold colored goop from corn. It'd be corn syrup, the old faux sugar, right to about here on that Coke. Yeah, that's sort of anti-hydration. Stick with the agua. Yeah, alcohol's even worse. Alcohol is takes the water out of you. Anyway, it's HOT hot out there. Our Humane May fundraiser continues a week from this Wednesday, May 31st, the end of the month. We've got 10 days left to raise over $6,000. We're under $4,000 right now. We need your help. HumaneLA.org. HumaneLA.org. The 504 driving range, that potential driving range, the Old Times Picayune site. What is that? Howard Avenue at Broad Street, essentially. Howard Avenue and Broad, right on the Pontchartrain Expressway. They have crime cameras out there, or I shouldn't say crime cameras, surveillance cameras. The owners of the site do. An 18-wheeler pulls up with a forklift and steals a bunch of steel beams, some of them supposedly weighing like a ton. The 504 driving range had a theft of materials. Right away, the developers of that site are like, it's going to cause a delay. I mean, no doubt about it. 1% of the total cost, it's like a major delay. It's almost like they're implying like this could set us back 6 months. It's like, go get some more steel, dude, and start building. Focus on some other area until the steel comes in. I don't know what to tell you. It's a multifaceted project, but just pouncing on the delay thing so quickly. I'm not knocking these developers. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that they get the job done. I'm not against them. I'm just skeptical of them. And I think they are skeptical of the city. They're skeptical that they're going to have a competitor in Topgolf down by the convention center, by the River District new neighborhood that could potentially come online, which still they have not broken ground on that. New Orleans is painful, man. How long did they announce River District? Almost 2 years ago? A year and a half? Not a shovel in the ground yet. Now, I know they've got a ridiculous amount of entities to deal with, which again is typical New Orleans, but my God. Anyway, the 504 driving range theft of materials, large steel beams, steel plates, loaded with a forklift onto a flatbed 18-wheeler and driven off the site. They've got them on camera. How can't you find a big truck, an 18-wheeler? Has to have distinguishing marks, separates them from other trucks. Video surveillance, get that truck down to the year, the trailer. There's got to be things that distinguish it that people in the trucking industry immediately things that would stick out. Can't just be a mystery. A young mother killed in front of her kids in her car in New Orleans East, 4 shot total. Yet another mass shooting in New Orleans, another mass shooting. I'm probably picking up a a Glock 17 from a friend of mine. He has one. It's brand new, never shot, never used, willing to sell it to me. He's taught me how to shoot. He's a professional shooter, not like a gun zealot, but a gun professional. And it's just amazing that there's so many folks that purchase guns and they think it's like a gun is like going to the Home Depot and renting the forklift. If you've never driven the forklift, you're not going to be able to operate it very smoothly or efficiently. You're going to have to learn a little bit. It's like a Bobcat for the first time. I don't know what to compare it to. It's you don't just buy a gun and, you know, put it together and, hey, I got the electric knife for carving the turkey. I think you can plug that in and start carving the turkey pretty effectively right away. It's an electric knife. A gun's a little different. Loading it, is it ready to shoot? Is it not loaded? How do you clean it? How do you take it apart? How do you put it back together? Even if you're going to have someone else do that, loading it and shooting it, ready to shoot, that's not difficult. It's fairly easy, but you need to know what's going on. And then you're holding a gun in your hand so you could blow your foot off or kill someone around. You have to be careful with it. Now, that's the problem with guns. A lot of idiots, especially criminals, they buy them or steal them or possess them somehow. And then they sort of just spray the entire area, whatever the target they're trying to kill or shoot. They just unload the entire magazine in that general area and hope one of the 13 or 16 or 19, however many bullets are in that magazine, hit the target, ideally a few. Shooting it sideways, all this crap. I mean, these aren't gun experts. They don't go to the range and practice. They don't know how to shoot. They're just criminals with a gun, and they spray bullets everywhere, often not hitting their target, often hitting others. Another mass shooting in New Orleans, a young mother, another woman shot and killed in New Orleans. Beyond unacceptable. Just crazy. Crazy. Hey, Lebanon's Cafe will not be open tomorrow. They're closed on Tuesday, but they're open right now, and they'll go till 9:30. Wednesday through Monday, Lebanon's Cafe, they open at 11 for lunch. They stay open throughout the day, and they go till 9:30. Some of the finest Middle Eastern food in Metro New Orleans. Tonight for dinner, Carrollton at Jeanette, right by the streetcar barn. You won't be disappointed. Lebanon's Cafe.
Hey guys, it's Frank Smith from LasVegasGambling.com with your weekend 5-star lock of the week. Lock of the week. Lock of the week. Take the Lakers and the points over the Clippers. Sell the house, sell the boat, sell your children. Send grandma away and take the money. Put everything you've got on this 5-star selection. It's the Lakers over the Clippers. And we've also got a fantastic 5-star parlay as well. Call us now, 888-555-7777. It's Frank Smith, a.k.a. The Hammer, from LasVegasGambling.com. Do it now.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here, and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring, and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
At Helm Paint, we go the extra mile with free delivery anywhere in the metro area. In the middle of a job and short on paint? Call us and we'll come to you.
Short on time? Call in your order and pick it up in the drive-thru at our Earhart Boulevard location.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Our Humane May fundraiser is going on right now. In the month of May, we're trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Donate right now at humanela.org.
I was telling you last week, if you don't even like golf, it's fun to watch the majors if you're a sports fan, because it's the toughest test usually, especially like a U.S. Open or British Open. Just insane. The PGA really showing their teeth over the weekend at Oak Hill. Insane, rough, tough conditions. It's not your typical weekend country club golf outing for these PGA pros where they destroy the course over 4 days. He's bombing home runs, and shooting like 20-something under. It's more of a pitching duel. And not a lot of players get, into the negative numbers. The winner may not get to double digits under par. So the majors are always something to watch. Now, Brooks Koepka is an LIV golfer, plays on that Saudi tour. So I'm kind of soured by that whole deal. It's not capitalistic based. It's this, country that has a horrible civil rights record. They have endless cash. They can lose money for decades and hurt something that's a U.S. entity, this golf league, this PGA tour. So I'm not a big LIV fan. So not following Koepka, I didn't even watch the end where he won and him, getting the trophy or any of that. I stopped watching after Michael Block finished. Now, you don't have to be a golf fan at all, like I said, and you might enjoy the majors. When there's a story like Michael Block, you don't have to be a golf fan. You don't have to be a sports fan at all, and you would have enjoyed yesterday's PGA Championship. Michael Block is a PGA Club pro. He's like the golf pro at the shop, taking your credit card, handing you the key to the cart, selling you a sleeve of balls. You're with the Smith Group. I think your tee time's 7:48. You better get to the tee. Yeah, I've got a lesson available at 1:45. I'll see you on the driving range. It's $150 an hour. That's Michael Block. He's a PGA pro at a golf course. He's a club pro. He's not a PGA professional playing on the tour every week. Married, kids, lives in California, is a pro at a golf shop like at Chateau or, English Turn or wherever. He had a hole-in-one on Sunday. He went up and down on hole 18 from the rough with the pin in a tight spot where I would say not only for Michael Block, but the majority of PGA professionals would not go up and down from that spot. I'd say about 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10 would go up and down from the spot Michael Block was in on 18. He goes up and down. It keeps him at 1 over par for the 4 rounds of this major tournament under insanely tough conditions. And that par-saving putt on 18 that, rolls by the front of the hole and slips through it's cutting across from left to right and falls in at 5 o'clock on the hole. The bottom right front of the hole. It's missing the hole. It barely slips in. Just a great up and down. Puts him in the top 15. So he gets an exemption for next year's PGA Championship. He'll be in that field. He got a sponsor's exemption in the Charles Schwab tournament, the weekly country club tournament this week. He'll be playing in that. He gets a Canadian Open exemption for finishing in the top 15 at the PGA. So it's sort of like the Tin Cup story. It's kind of like Tin Cup. It's sort of like that movie with Michael Block, a club pro, teaches golf lessons, works at a country club. You might call, he might answer the phone and give you a tee time. He had a hole-in-one on Sunday, an amazing up and down on 18. He finishes in the top 15. He'll be back next year. He was the fan favorite, the crowd favorite, the pros favorite, the television crew's favorite. He's America's hero right now, Michael Block. Just humble, gracious. The great side of sports. The great side of sports. I tweeted a bunch of his comments and post-game stuff and the hole-in-one and the chip and the putt and all that stuff. You can check it out on my Twitter, @CoreyJohnson. Yeah, Michael Block was the story at the PGA Championship. No offense to Brooks Koepka, who picked up his 3rd PGA title, his 5th major. He's got one more than Rory. Rory McIlroy, by the way, played with Michael Block. Michael Block on Saturday. You're playing with tomorrow who? Rory McIlroy. He couldn't believe it. Then aces a hole with him. Just a cool customer. Michael Block, what a great story at the PGA Championship yesterday. Hey, speaking of golf, a 2-alarm Kenner fire destroys the cart barn with the carts inside at Chateau Golf Club out in Kennebrah. Lake Terrace-Lake Oaks residents out by UNO concerned about the potential Pontchartrain Beach redevelopment. Security, trash pickup, just some of the concerns. Those are legitimate. You ever see the lakefront after the weekend by the UNO Lakefront Arena? Basically where the barbecue, fest goes down. Hogs with the cause or whatever it's called, Hogs for the Cause. It's essentially right there in between the levee and the lakefront behind the UNO Lakefront Arena, specifically the lakefront, that little area in between the levee and Lakeshore Drive. It's filthy. What's that, Blue Boy? I wouldn't walk you out there because you might get into old crawfish tails that were left and all kind of other food items left on the table. You're right. No, but folks don't pick up after themselves. Not right. What else? Stick around. 5 o'clock powwow next.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers Breitling time, 5 p.m.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Young's Dry Cleaning with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here's New Orleans native son, Corey Johnson.
New Orleans City Councilman Freddie King joins us.
So I want to first say thanks for having me. And believe it or not, man, I used to listen to your show all the time driving home. So it's an honor to be on.
Freddie, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you on the program. Thanks.
The official afternoon talk show of the city of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models, and it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Wow. It's not Jake and the Fat Man, but it is William Conrad, and he is fat. He's huge. He's obese. He's Cannon.
Cannon.
That's right. Cannon.
Starring William Conrad.
We said that already.
With guest star Anthony Zerbe.
Wow, Anthony Zerbe this week? Amazing.
Winter.
I love the title of the show tonight.
Tonight's episode, Catch Me If You Can.
Not a problem. He weighs 500 pounds. He's an anchor. Catch me if you can. Who couldn't? Who could not catch William Conrad? Seriously. I can't think of a single human being that couldn't catch William Conrad of Jake and the Fat Man and Cannon. Corey Johnson back at you. No Cannon episode coming your way. Sorry to disappoint. It's the 5 o'clock powwow of the neutral ground on a Monday, on a hot, summery like Monday in New Orleans. Summer may officially not be here on the calendar, but it started over the weekend. We officially topped 90 on that thermometer device. Feels like 90 every day now, like right now. No, it's just hot. Summer's here. We're going to start falling into the temperatures above 90. Feels like 105, feels like 107. That kind of crap is on the way. Ouch. Summertime. Hey, our Humane May fundraiser going on right now. It's May 22nd, if you can believe that. We're already 3 weeks into the month. 1 week from this Wednesday is May 31st, the last day of the month. A week from this Wednesday. That means we've got 8 shows left to talk about our Humane May fundraiser and just 10 days left on the calendar when you include this weekend. We're about 70% in to the month, time-wise. Yet we've only raised about 40% of the money. So we're like half of where we should be right now. We should be at about $7,000-8,000 and we're at $4,000. Yet we've only got 10 days to raise like another $6,000, $6,500. HumaneLA.org is the website where you can donate. HumaneLA.org. Please go to the website. Please donate $5 or $10. You can afford it. It takes just a few minutes. It's a safe, secure site. 100% of the proceeds go to the Humane Society. You're saving animals' lives, literally. You're stepping up as a Louisianian, showing pride, saying, I care about our state and our reputation. And don't want to be, the state perceived as we don't care about animals. I'm a Louisianian. I'm proud of it, and I want to show it. You can show it by donating $5, $10, $20, $50, whatever you can afford. Please go to the website right now, please, HumaneLA.org, and donate something. HumaneLA.org is the website. You'll see a photo of me under a blanket laying on the sofa with Blue Boy. You might see Sparky and Tolly, some of my other cats, dogs, animals, pals, buddies, friends. Click on that. Use your ATM or debit card, and please donate right now. HumaneLA.org. Trying to save the lives of cats and dogs, kittens and puppies, horses and goats. HumaneLA.org. We can't do it without you. Without you. HumaneLA.org. Please go to the website right now and donate. The 504 FORE 504 Driving Range Entertainment Complex, the Old Times Picayune Building site, Howard Avenue, whatever, Pontchartrain Expressway at Broad Street. A brazen theft over the weekend. An 18-wheeler with a forklift goes and steals a bunch of, heavy steel girders, beams. They're saying about $300,000 in theft. They didn't have insurance. They had cameras there. They didn't discover it until Monday. Today, when it went down over the weekend, these brazen thieves came on Saturday, then come back like a day later and steal more. The 504 folks very enthusiastically saying it's going to create a delay. I mean, that's what I got out of the article. I'm hoping for these guys' success. I want them to succeed. I want them to move at a fast pace and get this thing open. I want Topgolf too. But I think because of Topgolf, I think they're very skeptical themselves. They're moving at a slower, cautious pace. I'm not saying they're glad the theft occurred. I don't think they're happy about it, but I think they're pouncing on it. It's like Smith and Walensky after Katrina. Any excuse to get out of Dodge. Any excuse to get out. They were almost unaffected, that building. Green awning gets ripped off. They could have opened up like the next day. Almost. No, they wanted out. They got out. These guys, I think, like, man, there's definitely going to be a delay now. It's like, dude, go get the steel from somewhere else. It's a $20-30 million project. Start on some of the other things. The fence around the facility, the infield. I don't know what to tell you. They're definitely a priority list. They're things you don't want to build because they could get damaged. But there's definitely a lot you could do while you're waiting on the new steel to arrive. So I'm not saying the theft is a good thing, but this isn't anything that the developers brought in themselves. This was steel and metal plates that had been sitting on that site for years that the original developers brought in. Now, the new developers purchasing the site, that was part of the purchase. The infrastructure, any and all materials left behind, I'm sure that was part of the purchase. They had cameras there, but the site wasn't secured. They didn't have insurance. No, they just sort of jumping on there. It will cause a delay thing, like almost, a little overzealous about that. A young mother killed in front of her kids in her car in New Orleans East, 4 shot total, yet another mass shooting. We have more mass shootings in New Orleans than some entire countries on the planet with tens of millions of people living in that country. We have more mass shootings in New Orleans. Mass shootings, 3 or more people shot. It's crazy. Lake Terrace-Lake Oaks residents right around UNO have concerns with the potential Pontchartrain Beach redevelopment when the two big concerns, security and trash, come up. I think those are legitimate concerns. I'm a Lake Terrace resident or a Lake Oaks resident. Those are nice neighborhoods. Those are neighborhoods that really have not changed or been affected in any kind of an adverse way throughout their entire lifetime. Lake Terrace is a late 50s development. Lake Oaks is an early 60s development. 65 plus years for Lake Oaks, almost 70 years, probably about 70 years for Lake Terrace. Still very nice, still very, pseudo affluent, upper middle class. Some rich and wealthy folks living in there as well. No, they're nice neighborhoods, convenient, right on the lakefront, underground electricity and things of that nature, no above ground poles and wires. Built up, it doesn't flood. I love those Lake Oak homes on that, I think it's like called Lake Oaks Boulevard or something. It's the street of the Lake Oaks neighborhoods that's kind of, the houses front the the big area where some of those UNO churches are located off Lakeshore Drive. You essentially have a big Lake Oaks Park in front of your house across the street. Not any through traffic through there. No UNO students parking in your neighborhood. It's just a underrated, great neighborhood, Lake Oaks and Lake Terrace. So the Pontchartrain Beach redevelopment, I'm all for it. It's long overdue. But yeah, security is a concern and trash. Like I said, going into the top of the hour break last hour, look no further than Lakeshore Drive at Franklin Avenue after a weekend. Just trash every week left out there. It's filthy. Bring trash bags, people. Don't just leave your crawfish tails on the ground. Pick up after yourself. Don't leave food on the table. Don't overstuff garbage cans. Don't pile your food up by a garbage can and leave. Bring trash bags. Take the trash with you. Bring it to a dumpster. I don't know what to tell you. The city's broken. They're not doing a good job of maintaining it. Don't just show up out there and leave all your crap. So Lake Terrace, Lake Oak residents, they have concerns that are legitimate about the Pontchartrain Beach redevelopment. But we don't need, the no Havana outpost type mentality from Lake Oaks, Lake Terrace, where we, stop this project from getting green lighted. Helm Paint and Decorating, where New Orleanians go when it's time to paint. Over half a century, 7 locations, East Bank, West Bank, North Shore. They got you covered. Plus, free 2-hour delivery to anywhere in Metro New Orleans. Pick your colors, your supplies online when you got to paint in Metro New Orleans. Helm Paint and Decorating.
Our Humane May fundraiser is going on right now. In the month of May, we're trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Donate right now at humanela.org.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Since 1896, a true taste of New Orleans, Leidenheimer French bread. Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe, in the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
Hey, Latrim, the global manufacturing giant, is hiring. You hear me talk about Latrim all the time. Are you looking for a new job, a new career, change in your life? At least go to the website, latrim.com, and see what they have to offer. It's not 2 or 3 job openings either. It's dozens and dozens and dozens of jobs at latrim.com. For a full listing of positions available, go to latrim.com. Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M, latrim.com. Corey Johnson with you on a Monday afternoon, our Humane May fundraiser. We're about 2/3, 70% of the month is done. It's May 22nd. We've got till a week from this Wednesday until the month is over. We've raised about $4,000. We're trying to raise $10,000, so we're nowhere near our goal. Please go to the website, humanela.org, to donate. Do it right now. humanela.org to donate. A 2-alarm Kenner fire destroys the cart barn with the carts inside at the Chateau Golf Club. Speaking of golf, PGA Championship at Oak Hill, I'm not really concerned about Brooks Koepka. You know, he left the PGA Tour, went to LIV. I'm not a big fan of that, but you have to recognize Brooks Koepka's greatness. 3rd PGA Championship, 5th major, one of the greatest golfers of his era. Oak Hill was great. The course up in upstate New York, thick, sick, nasty, rough, like a U.S. or British Open. It was great. I mean, the PGA Championship, I love that they're second in the pecking order, not last. You know, not chronologically last, but before the U.S. Open, before the British Open, kind of gets people more interested in it because it's if anyone that knows golf ranked the majors, the PGA would be 4th. It would either be the British Open, the U.S. Open, or the Masters as number 1, 2, and 3. I would say 99% of folks that love golf, the PGA would be the 4th major. But it is a major. And moving it from 4th on the calendar to 2nd after the Masters was huge because the interest levels double, triple what it would normally be. Instead of it being almost an afterthought, it's an attention grabber. And when they go to a course like Oak Hill and it's tough conditions like it's supposed to be for a major, it really draws attention. And then when you have a PGA Club pro, Michael Block, works at a golf shop at a country club in California, teaches lessons, books tee times, sells you a sleeve of balls, takes your credit card, hands you the cart key. Hey, we're going off on the backside. We're starting on 10 today. 90-degree, cart path only, whatever. That he's the pro at the country club. He's the pro at the golf course. So he's not a PGA touring professional, week in, week out, grinding it on the tour. He finishes 1 over par after 4 rounds on that diabolical course. He has a hole-in-one on Sunday. He has an up and down on 18 for the ages. He's in the rough, impossible lie, couple of traps to go over, about 10 feet of green to work with, has to land it in an area about the size of an old telephone book. What does he do? Lands it on the telephone book. Leaves it about, 8-10 feet. Cans that putt through the side door to save the par. An incredible up and down on 18. The crowd goes nuts. It keeps him at 1 over. Top 15 at the PGA, a major top 15, which means next year he's exempt. He gets to play next year. Doesn't have to qualify. He is in the tournament. I think it's in Louisville at Valhalla. He makes the Canadian Open as a top 15 winner. He got a sponsors exemption. The Charles Schwab folks, very smart, call him right away and say, Michael, we have a sponsors exemption. You remember the Zurich had a sponsors exemption this year? They gave it to John Daly and Davis Love III. Had those two pair up. They didn't make the cut. They didn't play well, but I think a fairly smart move. Bring in John Daly. That might bring in some fans. Little spotlight on the tournament somewhat. It's not some Grand Slam home run, but I think not a good exemption choice. The Charles Schwab tournament starting Thursday, Michael Block will be in that number. No, just a great story. Great story. A country club pro. It's like the movie Tin Cup. By the way, he's going to try to qualify for the U.S. Open, too. You shoot 1 over after 4 rounds at the PGA under those conditions at Oak Hill. You're top 15, meaning you beat about 150 PGA regular tour players, 140 of them for the week. Pretty damn cool. Plus, Michael Block's like 45. He's a middle-aged guy, married with kids, a PGA Club pro. Picked up a nice check, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Fan favorite. Just a great story from the PGA yesterday. You don't have to like golf. You don't even have to like sports to like that story. Hey, Young's Dry Cleaning, 2 walk-up locations, free pickup and delivery. They come to you, East Bank, West Bank, home or office. Pick up your dirty stuff. 2 short days later, bring it back to you, perfectly dry cleaned. Or take advantage of Young's Express, their manless locker locations. Those are all over the metro area, right under your nose, maybe right where you live or work and you didn't even know it. You dump off your dirty stuff in a safe, secure Young's locker. 2 short days later, pick up all your stuff perfectly dry cleaned from that Young's locker. To find out more, youngsdrycleaning.com, a New Orleans institution since 1940. You tired of your dry cleaner? You want to experience the best? youngsdrycleaning.com. Our Humane May fundraiser going on right now. Go to the website. Let's save some animals' lives, cats and dogs. HumaneLA.org. Please donate $5, $10, $20 right now. HumaneLA.org. Our fundraiser, our Humane May fundraiser for the month of May ends a week from this Wednesday. We're almost done with the month and we're nowhere near our goal. Please help us. HumaneLA.org. Please help animals. HumaneLA.org. The 504 driving range theft of materials. Those developers of that driving range, entertainment, sports bar, restaurant, sports venue, the Old Times Picayune building, Pontchartrain Expressway, was that Howard Avenue at Broad? Some brazen thieves come not once but twice over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, with an 18-wheeler, with a forklift, because they're stealing heavy steel plates and steel girders, things that weigh, half a ton, load them up on an 18-wheeler and tool on out of there. The developers of that 504 driving range development say about a $300,000 theft, and right away, almost over-enthusiastically stating, it's going to cause a delay, it's going to cause a delay. Just don't have a lot of confidence in those guys. I want to. I think their situation's a lot like Troy Henry with Six Flags. It's It isn't like, boy, we've got the money, we're ready to roll, we're just waiting on workers. There's a lot of pieces to it. It's precarious in nature. It's like a house of cards. One card gets moved, the whole house of cards collapses. I don't think either project has a super strong foundation. I think they're counting on things falling into place and this momentum and inertia that'll get the snowball rolling down the mountain and complete the project. Just the way, and I didn't even hear him, just reading the article. The 504 guys just, it's going to cause a delay. It's going to cause a delay. Just like pouncing on that. Like almost thankful for the theft that there's going to be a delay. No insurance. It's like a $20 or $30 million project. This is 1% of the total cost, what this theft represents. I'm not saying 300 grand's not significant. Skeptical that it's 300 grand worth of stuff, what it would cost to replace. But whatever. Point is, when the project is 100 times more than the theft, so many other things you could be working on that don't require this particular steel or metal plates this week. Divert your people to do something else towards this $30 million project. So anyway, we'll cause a delay. We'll cause a delay. We'll cause a delay. That's all I got out of that article. I think these developers I don't think they're iffy or wishy-washy. I think it's a lot of things need to line up almost like a perfect storm for it to go. I think they have good intentions. I think they're honest. I just don't think they have deep pockets with a lot of cash just ready to pull the trigger. And I think this kind of stuff gives them an excuse to slow things down dramatically, see what Top Golf's going to do by the River District potential neighborhood on the riverfront by the convention center. Anyway, some brazen theft. Another thing with the cameras, the surveillance cameras out there, you can see the 18-wheelers, you can see the people, the forklift. There's not enough markings, distinguishing features that folks in that industry will recognize that truck or what it is, what year, make, model, zero down where that came from. Check out some cameras on the interstate. Find out where the truck went. I mean, it just doesn't seem that difficult to piece this together. Your boy who has that crime camera thing where he takes private individuals' cameras and puts them into a system. He can't stack up the path of this truck leaving and where it went. I find this mind-boggling that such an overt theft, tons of steel, not once but 2 days straight, 18-wheeler, forklift to move it, wasn't some snatch and grab 10 minutes. Big truck, lumbering down the road, just flying out of there. Seems like it should be easily figured out. Hey, why aren't you at Katie's right now on a Monday? What a great way to start your week. Wind down your Monday at Katie's in Mid-City, the quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant. Like Scott Craig says, more is better, more of the good things. Speaking of more, Scott Craig's other place, Francesca Deli and Pizzeria in Lakeview on Harrison Avenue, in between Canal Boulevard and West End. About 15 different specialty deli sandwiches to choose from. Or build your own deli sandwich. Pick the bread, the meat, the dressing, the cheese, the extras. A true deli. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria in Lakeview. Yeah, and Katie's, as New Orleans as it gets, in Mid-City. Corey Johnson with you on a Monday. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. 766-9480. A young mother killed in New Orleans East in her vehicle with her 2 children in the car right in front of her kids. 4 total people shot. Another mass shooting in New Orleans. More mass shootings in New Orleans than some countries. Lake Terrace and Lake Oaks, folks. Those 2 neighborhoods that are on the east and west side of the University of New Orleans, respectively, on the lake. Saturday, they met in Lake Vista. Ironically, a neighborhood right next door to those 2 neighborhoods at St. Pius. to discuss the potential Pontchartrain Beach redevelopment. A couple of the concerns that I think are legitimate: security and trash. Now, folks might go, well, what's the big deal about trash? I don't know. Go to the lakefront right now on a Monday. Go right now. I bet the levee board folks have not gotten out there and cleaned up all that mess. Go to Franklin and Lakeshore Drive and hook a right like you're going east and look to your right. That area in between the levee and Lakeshore Drive with the picnic tables and the little covers, the little places with this concrete slab and little roof you can go under. Have your little family picnic you're gathering. Go out there right now. I guarantee you, just piles of crawfish shells all over. Leftover food, big silver aluminum trays of food with bugs and rodents and creatures all around. No, it's a mess. It's pathetic. Right now, if I had to bet, I would think that's how it's going to look. Next weekend after Memorial Day? My God, are you kidding me? It's going to be a mess. Every week, same thing. No one brings their own garbage bags. No one brings their trash with them when they leave. They just either leave it where it is or throw it up by a overstuffed garbage can around it, letting it become someone else's problem. So no, the Terrace-Lake Oaks residents, they should be concerned about trash at a potential Pontchartrain Beach. This is New Orleans, filthiest city in America. That's a legitimate concern. The city that forgot to care, just people throwing their trash, get rid of it out of their car, out of their life. It becomes our problem. And security, that's legitimate as well. Lake Terrace, Lake Oaks, really nice neighborhoods. They're very nice. Middle class to upper middle class. Are there some rich and wealthy people in those neighborhoods? Sure, but it's mostly middle and upper middle class, working class people. But very nice. Not a lot of crime, good streets. Those are good neighborhoods on the east and west side of UNO. So they should be concerned. But I'm also pro Pontchartrain Beach redevelopment, for crying out loud. Are you kidding? Hey, Friend and Company Fine Jewelers on Maple Street. Real natural diamonds, 1 billion years old. Don't get hoodwinked. Don't get ripped off. Don't get scammed. Most of these jewelry stores, these so-called diamond jewelry stores, they're selling 3-week-old man-made diamonds, lab-created diamonds, 3 weeks old, not 1 billion years old, unlimited quantity, not limited quantity, depreciate in value, not appreciate in value. Go with real diamonds, natural diamonds, 1 billion years old. Friend and Company Fine Jewelers. Go see Ken Friend. You do have a friend in the jewelry business. Friend and Company Fine Jewelers, Maple Street in Uptown, in between Broadway and Carrollton.
Our Humane May fundraiser is going on right now. In the month of May, we're trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Donate right now at humanela.org. Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. No AC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. No AC.com, your cool spot.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. Then we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us steer you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Producing tomorrow's talk radio today, Corey Johnson.
This is tomorrow's newspaper. Precisely. I already went further ahead into time to see what else happens.
Your View, Louisiana. That's Cox Channel 4 in New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Lafayette. And live streaming at CoreyTalks.com.
Future. Unbelievable. For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Every day, this program on radio, television, live streaming, on YouTube. Brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kennebra on the car corner, Williams Boulevard and I-10. Right on the corner, right on the price. Ronnie's got you covered out by the lake for nearly 50 years. Anchored by the big store, Lamarck Ford. Now, Ronnie's got you covered out by the river. Beelining across the parish. Scooping up the legendary Ford truck and SUV dealership. That's right. Lamarck Crescent City Ford in Elmwood and Harahan, Jefferson Highway, under the Lamarck umbrella. Every day, this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex. And now, Lamarck Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway, your Ford truck and SUV dealership. Yeah, you right. Since the Mustang is the only Ford car left, that Crescent City Ford truck and SUV dealership is basically a full-blown Ford dealership. Monday afternoon, a little after 5:30, another Martel Monday. Brett Martel joins us again from the Associated Press. How you doing, Brett?
I'm doing well, Corey. How are you?
Doing very well, man. Thanks for joining us again.
You got it.
How can folks check out your columns, your articles, and the like via the Associated Press?
Well, one of the best ways is an app. It's called the AP News app. It's free for a smartphone. News from all over the world, including the war in Ukraine and so forth. Not just sports, but a lot of good sports news as well.
Yep.
Including great coverage of golf and last weekend's PGA Championship by Doug Ferguson.
Boy, Oak Hill. First off, Brett, I love that the PGA, first off, there are 4 majors. I think 99% of golfers would have the PGA as the 4th as far as prestige and biggest major. It's going to be Augusta, U.S. Open, British Open, 1, 2, 3, in whatever order. And PGA is almost always going to be 4th. It was 4th on the calendar as well, which was a major blunder. It would be almost like an afterthought. The Masters has been played, U.S. Open, British Open. Folks didn't care about the PGA. Now that it's second on the calendar with the Masters first and then the PGA before the U.S. Open, before the British, it has a spotlight on it, a significance it didn't have before, and importance. People want to watch it. Coupled with going to Oak Hill, coupled with the rough like they had it, I mean, it's a major. It should be like that. It shouldn't be your typical Sunday country club golf shooting 20 under. With all of that said, Brooks Koepka picks up his 5th major, 3rd PGA title. But the story of the day was a PGA Club pro, a guy you call to get a tee time, a guy that hands you the golf cart key, a guy you give your credit card to, a guy that teaches lessons at the club. Michael Block was the story. And, the hole-in-one, Brett, the play over 4 days, finishing 1 under, the up and down on 18, the humbleness. That was the greatness of this PGA Championship. No offense to Brooks Koepka. It's easy for me to slight him because of his LIV connection. I almost want to. But Michael Block was the story, right?
Yeah, I think he's what made this particular tournament really, really memorable. I think there was a bunch of guys that you expect to win or expect to contend near the top. The guy who won has won majors before, played really well, and he had been in contention, if I remember right, at the Masters too, right?
Oh, he had the lead in the, you could say he blew the Masters.
Blew the Masters, yeah. So, it's a good story in a sense, but he's been an elite player for, well over 5 years now.
Yeah, definitely, for about the last 7-8 years, yep.
Yeah. So, but what made this, you could tell by the crowd's reaction. When Michael Block got up to the first tee on Sunday, Jim Nance said that's the loudest cheer we've heard, or maybe it wasn't Nance, maybe it was the guy that was on the tee box, said it was the loudest cheer he had heard all day during an introduction for a round.
Yep.
And So it clearly resonated with the fans. It would have been even better if he was a local pro, right? But I think he's from Southern California. Is
That's
that
right? Yeah, he's from California. Yep.
Yeah, but anyway, and then on top of that, he doesn't completely fall apart and hits an amazing. I mean, it wasn't just a hole in one; he dunked it.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. On the fly.
How many times have you seen that? I mean, I have seen it before, but it's rare.
No, there's a pro tournament where there's a car available. It might be the Genesis, but you have to dunk it. You can't just get a hole in one. It's got to land on the fly like that, or you don't win the car. So they're it's hole in one's a low percentage. On the fly like that, super low percentage.
Yeah, it's a once in a lifetime shot, even for a pro.
The up and down was almost as good, Brett. I would say 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 PGA pros wouldn't have hit that shot as well. Maybe 9 out of 10. I think you could give that ball back to Michael Block 10 more times, and he doesn't put it inside of where he put it. That was an incredible shot.
Right. Yep. Yeah, he was. It was. I felt like the announcers' voices sounded like the giddiest, and the crowd seemed the most energized when Michael Block was, being the club pro who could,
Exactly. So, 45, 44, 45 years old, married with kids, teaches lessons, top 15. He'll be at Valhalla next year. He makes the Canadian Open, qualifies for that because he's top 15 at the PGA. Charles Schwab this week invited him on the sponsors exemption. So all of a sudden, Michael Block's, right in the thick of things. He's going to try to qualify for the U.S. Open. It is like a tin cup story.
Yeah, and I think the lead of our story on him yesterday was that he recalled how only a week ago he was having drinks at the Pittsford pub in Rochester, and nobody knew who he was. Basically just a couple, basically the 2 days before the tournament or whatever.
Yep.
And now everybody knows. Everybody who follows golf knows who he is.
Yep.
So, yeah.
The attitude too, Brett, when you see greatness in sports and someone is truly humble and even shocked and surprised, the putt on 18, he puts his hands, on his face, his elbows in his knees. He's almost like shocked it went in. The hole in one, he couldn't believe it. He's saying, no, you're kidding. It's like a Hollywood movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
It really was. You don't have to like golf. You don't have to like sports to like that story. And that's why I always tell people, when like majors roll around, you don't have to like golf, but just watch this because the conditions are brutal and it's not country club. It's more of a pitching duel than a home run derby like the regular tournaments. There's no 20 under finish,
Right. But there's quite a bit of drama because, it's almost like you don't even know if a several shot lead is safe with a few holes to go because the course is hard enough for even an elite pro to implode in a hole.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe get a double bogey.
No. Look at Hovland with his shot in the bunker that he clocks into the side wall and has to take a drop and just the tournament's over right there. One shot, tournament over. He hits that shot a couple inches higher and it's pure and it lands, say, within, the opposite. Within 5 feet of the hole, he's right in the tournament all of a sudden again. So, no, golf's brutal. One shot can crush you. Hey, Brett, any shocking reaction to where the NBA Eastern and Western Conference Finals are respectively? It's like pull out the broom, huh? Denver could end the Lakers season tonight. They're up 3-0. Boston trails Miami 3-0.
I think I wouldn't say shocking because the way Miami has played, it wasn't. It's a little surprising that Miami's winning 3-0, but nobody would have counted Miami out going into the series just given how they had played the first two.
But did anyone really pick Miami to beat Boston?
No. And it's interesting because it's like a team gets hot at the end of the year. I mean, both teams from South Florida, and I'm talking about in the NHL and hockey and in the NBA and basketball, the Heat and the Panthers barely made the playoffs. And they both not only barely made it, but then advanced to the conference finals. And now, for sure, it looks like the Heat, I mean, unless, the Celtics make history by winning 4 straight, will be in the finals. I did expect, the Lakers to be more competitive, but the Nuggets looked like the better team. So I'm not surprised that the Nuggets are in control of that series either.
Selfishly, I want a Boston win. I want a Laker win. I just want to see this series extended, Brett. I don't care if it's a Denver Miami final. I'm not trying to take that away from those teams. I just like to see Boston and the Lakers maybe win 1 or 2 just to extend the NBA season a little longer.
Well, it would be cool to see him. Yeah, I mean, at least have enough pride to go out there and not lay down, and make the other teams earn it.
Hey, Brett. We talk about different eras in sports, and I mentioned the Green Bay Packers, Lombardi era Packers. Jerry Kramer, Hall of Fame offensive lineman, was like 240 pounds, 250. Couldn't even play today on the offensive line. Maybe not in college. So it's hard to compare eras. Jim Brown was size, speed, quickness of today's NFL running backs. There's no difference. He was like Oscar Robertson playing the point guard back in the 60s. He just, 6'8", a front court guy playing in the back court like a fluke. And Jim Brown was like an offensive or defensive lineman-sized guy almost, with speed and quickness and incredible athletic skills. And he's a Hall of Fame lacrosse player at Syracuse. One could argue he's the greatest player in NFL history, Brett.
Yeah, one could argue he's among the most accomplished and maybe the most talented. He also had balance. Tacklers would fly off of him. With like Alvin Kamara, they seem to slip off of him, and it's not necessarily because Alvin Kamara is so strong, although he's probably stronger than he looks. But he's not that big of a guy. I think Alvin just has incredible balance,
Yep.
And is able, and he's kind of slippery in a way,
Yep.
He's elusive and slippery, and he's got good balance. He can bounce off tackles, and keeps going. And Kamara's had some amazing sort of Jim Brown-like runs where you think he's going to be tackled 5 times and doesn't go down. But a lot of time in Brown's case, it was a combination of the strength and the balance. And, sometimes it was just his own brute force that he was basically delivering a harsher hit on the tackler than the tackler was on him while he was moving with the ball at a high rate of speed, and just kept going. And he could make a great cut. He could break away. Yeah. So, you watch the highlights, it's really impressive. And those are the days. I guess the athletes on defense probably weren't quite as fast, as they are today. But yeah, I think relative to his era, he was just a mountain of a man running the ball with all kinds of skill.
I just think there's so many players, like I mentioned, Jerry Kramer could not play today on the O-line, probably couldn't play pro football today. Nowhere to put him. He's a Hall of Famer. I think Jim Brown could line up at running back in 2023.
Yeah, he kind of had a Leonard Fournette type skill set, I guess, right?
Yep, yeah, exactly.
Strength and everything like that.
Yep. Big,
but
fast, speed, quickness combo.
Even a better player. He might be better today than Leonard Fournette was. It's hard to know. Different defenders, but yeah. So
anyway, well, Brett, always a pleasure. We missing anything?
Well, the Saints are going to be in OTAs tomorrow. I'm going to be hoping to talk to Foster Moreau. He's expected to show up. Not definite. He's got the cancer treatment going on, but all signs are that he's going to try to be there this week. And if he's there, he's a very media-friendly guy, Jesuit guy, LSU guy.
Yep.
I enjoyed covering him there, and I think we'll enjoy covering him here. So hoping to see him tomorrow and catch up on how he's feeling and how he sees the season taking shape for him as he gets treatment for Hodgkin's lymphoma. It's kind of a compelling story there.
Are they expecting all players?
No, not all of them, but we'll have to see what the attendance is. I mean, it certainly sounds like Cam Jordan's going to be there. Does not sound like Michael Thomas is going to be there. We'll see. Hopefully the new quarterback will be there, Derek Carr. So there's a lot to keep track of, in that regard.
Brett, always a pleasure. We'll be checking out your stuff via the AP.
All right. Great show, Corey. Good to be on.
Always a pleasure having you on. That's Brett Martel from the Associated Press. We'll get back with him another Martel Monday, next Monday. Boy, I went to a nice restaurant over the weekend. They brought out the little paper bag inside, that little mini loaf, hot Leidenheimer French bread. The butter was like that whipped butter at room temperature. The hot Leidenheimer French bread, the butter melting on that Leidenheimer French bread. So good. Over 125 years, 5 generations strong, still baking that Leidenheimer French bread in the city. From the city's finest restaurants to probably that po' boy sandwich you're eating. Leidenheimer French bread, good to the last crumb. What's that, Blue Boy? Thank everyone for watching and listening. Thank Brett Martel, New Orleans Councilman Freddie King in the 4 o'clock hour. You can check that out on YouTube. Mañana, 4 p.m.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson. On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers brand